to Over 40 and loving every minute of it. I am Lisa Pliner, your host, and I had to take that summer hiatus like all of us, but I have got such a great, amazing show today. I have two fabulous guests that have actually been on my show before, and we're just going to jump right into the first guest. She's been actually I think you've been writing for like over 20 years in the fashion industry. We talked about
Mhm.
recycling and back then and vintage clothing, and now
Mhm.
Vivian Kelly, who I'm going to introduce, we are going to talk about Fashion Week. And
Mhm.
hello, Miss Vivian. So Fashion Week,
Hi.
hi, Fashion Week, the Met, the gala. I mean, what is really going on out there? I mean, you were there. It's I just see so much from all the collections, like stark mismatch. Like, how do you wear this? Who's wearing this? Who's buying this? And but the thing that I really loved this time was that for the models, it wasn't just only a stick figure. It was they did show
Mhm.
women and some older women, and some shows had transgender. I mean, I really think this time, fashion wise, really hit on what our world is. What's out there. But then again, these trends, I don't get it. Talk to me.
Well, first it seems, that it's I'm happy to see that this, plus size or curve size, transgender, all that is not just a fad. It wasn't just one season and it's like, okay, one and done, we've checked that box. It seems to be an ongoing thing, which is great because we come in all shapes and sizes and colors and everything. And that should be represented. And I know that from way back working at Michael Kors, the customer who was well in her 50s, 60s even,
Mm-hmm.
would say to me at trunk shows, she's like, what is up with all these young models on the runway and in Vogue?
Right.
I'm not there. I'm buying the clothes. Why am I not on the pages? yeah,
No, I get it.
and you're like, well, yeah, that's the way it is. A lame answer. But years later, we're finally seeing reality, which is great.
Right. I mean, but still, you still see all these young models, and yeah, their bodies are fantastic. They haven't hit 40 yet or 50s. I mean,
18.
okay, 18. I'm just trying to go when it really goes into the body changes as we have all gone through. I mean, everything
Right.
changes. The hips get bigger, this and that, or what, however you want to say. And, you see these gorgeous models and the clothes just look fabulous. I mean, they're fabulous. And then how does that, these designers are going to translate that into, okay, I'm going to buy this dress from Versace, or Bauman, or I mean Givenchy. I mean, there's like I mean, but some of these collections also are really dark for summer, spring.
Yeah. Well,
So
actually, I want to skip ahead to a point. I was having a chat with Scott, our fabulous publicist,
yes.
and I said, we were arguing about when does a designer get to really show their purest representation
Mm-hmm.
of what they're trying to do? And Scott said only the runway. And I said, wait a minute, what about the ad campaigns? And he got me. He said, because no, the ad campaigns are shot after the buyers decide what is actually going to get bought. So that is not the actual representation. So you have, as a designer, Andy Warhol's 15 minutes to get your perfect, pure vision out there without anyone else editing it out, without, stylists pulling from you, from another designer. So, maybe in a fantastical world, everyone is a size 2 and 5'11" and has perfect features.
Right.
So I'm not faulting them for it, but maybe that's what the
Well, I mean,
thinking
right. I
is.
mean, I look at
It's
it.
a fantasy.
Right, and it's a performance. I mean, what they
Yes.
go into these shows just to make a show, and I mean, just the performance of it. So I will agree with you, but a lot of the clothing, I mean, it's runway. It's a performance. They're not,
Mm-hmm.
they're just showing how talented and the jewels. And, I thought Dolce's show was beautiful. And a lot of those clothes, I mean, some of them you can wear. But,
so did I. So
right,
did I.
but,
I mean, and I think maybe going to Dolce and even Versace, the message seemed to be like, okay, we're tired of being home. We're out. We're ready to go out. We're ready to go to parties, dinners, travel, whatever. That's the message I got. We're ready to have some fun.
right.
So I thought that was good,
Yes,
actually.
right. I mean,
And
Valentino with these bright, bright colors, but still, it wasn't look like, okay, who's really going to wear that big, poofy, purple,
well,
instead of being on the Met with Whoopi Goldberg wearing it.
well, the Dolce, the wings. Yeah,
Right.
no. Where are you going in that? Maybe a club. I have no idea. I mean, I know I'm not wearing it. But,
I know I'm not wearing it either, but
yeah.
and I'm daring, but I do know now
Absolutely.
at 57, I'm not going to dress like that. I can't do that anymore.
And what are you wearing, by the way?
I'm actually wearing
What is that?
local shirt from one of my favorite boutiques in Orange County. What? Excuse me. In Newport Beach. Her boutique is I got my husband on their side because he's my muse and I love him. So he's like, her name, okay, Malika, and the name, I can't even pronounce the name of the boutique. Okay, well, anyway, but I do have, actually, because you love vintage, and I do have I don't know how old this is. I mean, you're talking, this is years old. Let's see, we've been married 24, so I would say this is like 20 years old vintage Balmain.
It's beautiful, though.
Right, and then I got good old, plain old little white shorts, but you know what? I don't leave home without my Donald Pliners, I mean, hello,
okay, let's see them.
And everything today is over the knee. If you saw mostly in the runways, so wearing an over knee boot today or with shorts or what, it works. So,
well, so we did watch a
Novecento.
Givenchy show. You told me to. Oh, go ahead.
Novecento, and she was actually on the show with Kevan Hall when we originally about buying, because she had to buy differently, and she has one of the best eyes, I think, in the market for her store. She's just right on. So basically, and then this piece, I have no idea who it is, but my mom gave it to me, but it works.
So, yeah, it's great.
Right. So it's not, I'm wearing two known designers, and the hat, I have no idea. But here, it doesn't really matter. It's just how you can put yourself together, and that's really what would be fashion, But again, look at the mirror and check to make sure, like, yes, I can wear this. Because, some of these women walk out going, why? I'm like, why are you wearing this? This is not the right look for you.
But to get to what you're saying, when we watched the Givenchy and the Balmain shows earlier today, the boots were amazing. Okay, so yes,
right,
the boots, check.
Yes.
But then when we look at the clothes, it's kind of like, okay, that vest you're wearing is a special piece.
Right.
So maybe if we really looked a little more closely and we ignore all the black we saw in Givenchy, there's a piece or two that would become a collectible item.
Right.
It's too soon to say now. Right. So that's how you wear it. You don't wear the whole look.
No, but here,
you're not.
Right.
You're not. She's not going to.
So and one of the looks from Balmain, was, okay, it's white pants, and then, you got like the high it's like wearing a bikini, like underneath your clothes, how you're showing that strap. And then, or it's like he had like this big, it was gorgeous, that big gold top. Okay, people have boobs. You can't have boobs to have that, and there's only maybe 2% today that's going to wear something like that can afford it and can go somewhere in Europe.
Well, I think what's really interesting would be to see what will the buyers actually buy, what is actually going to end up on the floor of Harvey Nichols,
right,
Bergdorf, whatever, Net-a-Porter, whatever.
Right.
That's really the question. We don't know. That is for show. That is the pure essence of the show. So we don't know yet.
Right.
But yeah, just if you look at it just straight up like that, you're like, where are you going in all those torn up things, like with barely any clothes on you?
And
You're not.
being 20 years old, maybe the oldest with a perfect stomach.
Yeah. 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 There,
But then again,
there,
right.
there were a lot of girls like that actually at Miami Fashion Week wearing
Well,
clothes like that
oh
with
yeah,
the perfect
well,
stomach and 20
right.
years old. Exactly.
And that's Miami, I mean, I could tell
Hmm.
you, I think when Donald and I used to design, Miami to do spring, summer was the perfect place to design because, the women are walking around in bikinis, or you see, floral, and you see all these beautiful tropical kind of outfits in every single way
Hmm.
and color. You're like, that works. But fall for Donald, I was like, let's come back to LA and let's go to the music industry. Let's go to, people, what's on the streets. And, that's kind of really how we would work together just for our looks, so.
And
Yeah,
maybe that's what they're doing too. I mean, they're kind of following the different industries and the different events.
right.
So we'll see.
We'll
But
see.
I mean, New York had a lot of wearable clothes. I'm happy to say that. Europe is a whole other
Right.
kettle of fish, but New York had wearable clothes. And one of my favorites was actually, it was called Chooks Collins. The
Mm-hmm.
designer is actually Collins Chooks, but it was all those beautiful jewel tones from the 80s. Remember that? Cobalt,
Mm-hmm.
sapphire,
Right. I know you sent
ruby
me some
red,
pictures earlier.
orange.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
It's just
In solids. Beautiful.
right.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So,
And that was exciting to see. And also just overall, makeup was kind of the
yeah.
face, the skin was beautiful, but we had like some bright pops of color. We had a lot of like gold like this. We had a lot of like red, trying to bring the red nails back,
Right.
all of that.
Which
So
is
that's a way to
fabulous.
kind of go on trend,
Right.
right?
Right. But then, some of these models, as we saw, Europe, a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like getting ready for Halloween, I guess we could say, in a nice way. I don't know how. It was very extreme.
Yes.
Right.
And I did research who did the makeup for Givenchy, and I'm shocked to tell you this. It was Pat McGrath, who I'm absolutely, I know, such a fan of, and I feel so bad because I was telling you, oh, it looked like Chucky,
Right.
from the horror movie.
Right. Well,
But it did.
Right.
I don't know
But
what
is that
the
okay?
thinking
So
was.
is that the makeup artist's idea of what he sees from the clothes, or is it the designer that says this is what I want? And you know what? We're gonna ask Kevin when he comes on that question, because his his looks were just, I mean, I have just tone. It was like this is a woman, woman. This is how we should look every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless again one of these young people, or I could say mostly like Japan or like the Asian countries, they love all of that,
Yes.
and they get away with it because they just have that certain personality look that it just works for them.
I agree.
That would not work for me, but it would work for them.
We were horrified.
Right.
But a Japanese woman might be like, wow, that's so cool. I'm going
Right.
to do that. And it would look amazing on
Right.
her, probably.
Easy.
So who knows what they were thinking. But
Right.
I mean, just to go back to when I cast shows, when I work for Michael Kors, the power is really with the designer. The designer has a vision. Like I was talking about these 15 minutes of the runway, and the designer is like, I want someone who looks like Lisa. I want that makeup. And the makeup artist comes in and looks at the clothes, looks at some sketches, depending on at what point they're at in the process, and says, yes, I completely understand. Or, well, how about if we try this or this or this? But ultimately, it's the designer who makes the final decision. So I would say it's a 80%
Right.
designer, maybe 20% makeup artist, hair person.
Right. So do you think sometimes that, like, I mean, like I guess what was Givenchy, that really extreme makeup that
We keep going back to that
right.
one.
I mean, and the clothes were really hard too. I mean, I was like all black and summer, and then at the beginning we got a little color. The shoes were again fabulous, but what I'm saying, so here is just black, or So is it that designer saying, I want the makeup, because it's almost, you're looking at the makeup and you're getting distracted. What do you look at first? When, you want to, buyers are there to go buy clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a minute here, I don't understand. Because it's sometimes that kind of makeup takes it away of really what you're trying to show.
True, but okay, I've been to, this is scary, over 1,000 fashion shows.
Right.
And I love watching the buyers watch the show, if at all possible, if I'm anywhere near them. So you know what? They're really kind of chilling out because they are going to go to the showroom anyhow.
Right.
So to them, it's just kind of like,
it's a runway show.
It's cool to be in the front row,
right.
and feel important.
Right.
And maybe they'll laugh at the makeup, or they don't care. What they care about is when they go to the showroom and place orders. And yes, if they're wowed by the show, of course, you want to wow everybody at the show. That's the whole point, is to like have everyone clapping on their feet, like any great performance. Okay. That's what you want. And you want the buzz.
Okay, so before we bring in our other guest, because I know maybe he can also answer a question like that.
Talk about someone who got a lot of buzz.
Okay, so someone here, they have all these clothes. And I mean, again, we're taking Milan or Paris, designers that kind of really do like wow out there.
London even.
Right, London, of course. Mm-hmm. So here you have those designers, and then, again, a lot of it is a show. A lot of it is just from their designing point of view, how talented they are. But that's not going to be what's in a showroom to go buy.
No.
None of it. I mean, barely. They'll say, okay, this is a different version of it.
Designers like Michael Kors, I keep bringing him up. There's not that much difference between the show and what ends up on the racks. Designers like, am I allowed to say who our guest is? Or
yes, of course.
Kevan Hall, okay. Right. I got to see that collection before it hit the runway. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the show because I had to go back home.
Right.
But that collection, I wouldn't be surprised if it all or almost all got bought. Right. Because that's perfection to me. It's when the clothes are amazing and they're wearable. That's a home run.
I mean, I could say from the past that, when our showroom at one time was Cavalli was above us. And I was very good friends with the head guy that would do it. And, I go up there and he goes, okay, come up, sample sale, the blah, 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 which was great because I was in heaven. But then there was also the times that, let's say I had an event to go to, this is when you're Cinderella, when they send you a box of all these clothes you try on, you know what you want to wear, and then you wear it and then you send it back. And I can say majority of that was in his collection. It wasn't all like show, or like if I went into the showroom. So I could say he because it's way back when he was, he really, I mean, he did show, beautiful stuff. So, and then I think I remember one time we were in Paris, Donald and I, and we went to Alaya, his show.
Oh, wow. That's special.
That was special to see him. That was special to see him come out. And then and then to go into his showroom in Paris it's probably one of the most amazing, remarkable showrooms I've ever seen in my life, and again, most of those clothes of his style is what you would see today. Only a few, like very special, I think he would make for, whoever he needed to make them, whoever wanted them. So I could say those designers, because like Alaya, he had a trend. He always did the same dress, or, it could be different colors, it was a trend and they kept it. So it was very special. So let's just not.
And people love their Alaya. Sorry to interrupt.
Right.
But
oh no,
you never see it for sale. It never comes up for sale because
all
people
my pieces.
Keep it.
I have all my pieces, and I promise you, I'm not getting rid of any of them. Do you hear that, Mr.
See?
Pliner? None of them, because first of all, I mean, he's not around.
You can't get another one.
There's no more. It's truly a collectible now. Right. There is no more. That's it.
I know, and I actually have some very collectible pieces when you come over to when you come to LA, you'll go, okay, I'm in a Candyland. I'm like, okay, oh
Mm.
my God, Lisa. I actually have one of this Michael Kors, and I'm waiting till now, season will start or whatever, that we can kind of get all dressed up, and it's one of my favorite dresses of his. And it was, remember when it was like a big silver choker, and it was like
Yeah.
red, and it just like all the way down. Love that
Mm.
dress. Love that
He does a
dress.
great sexy back. He does do
Great
that
sexy
very
back. You
well.
got to have a good back to have a great
Oh
back.
yeah.
Okay, enough of that, because you know what?
Okay.
We have really such an amazing guest today, and I'm so excited to have him back. And
Me too.
I love him, and his work is just amazing. So I have some questions to ask Mr. Kevan Hall. So where is our fabulous guest? Hello, my
Hello there.
fabulous friend.
Kevin.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. It's so
know,
great to be back.
I know, a year ago, when my first show, you were on.
I know, the very first show. Amazing,
my
right?
very first show, you were on, and we were during COVID, and we talked about how you surviving. What are you doing? Between the mask and this. I mean, how, there's no collection. No one's going anywhere, even though you
Right.
have. And now, Fashion Week. You're
Absolutely.
walking down that runway, standing,
Yeah.
Audience standing. How did that feel? What was the adrenaline that you had to go through to go, I am back, I did it, here I feel again, and my collection is gorgeous, and voila.
Right. No, it was amazing. It was just great, first of all, to be back in New York. The energy of the city was there. People were out and about, shopping bags, and, restaurants were open and people were just hanging out. It was, first of all, great to see the city kind of revived. And then, to be on Fifth Avenue with this great new venue, which was called New York Fashion Week at Fifth Avenue. Mm-hmm. That was the venue where the show was held. And it was great because the building has like wraparound windows, because it used to be a retail store. And so it has wraparound windows. So people, on the street could kind of look in and see the show live, as well as all those that were on the front row, second row, third row. So it really kind of made a wonderful kind of New York experience. And it was amazing to be back.
Oh, I could just tell, I mean, and I have pictures of your designs and stuff, and, and Vivian, she was there. She actually went into at the beginning of before you went on, just
she previewed.
The preview.
She came to the fitting.
So,
and she saw.
Yeah,
so I saw a little bit of the fitting. We were.
The family, all of it.
The family, and had the models were, it was like a go see. We're kind of finalizing the last of the models.
Yeah.
But she got a chance to kind of preview the collection and see what we're up to. And from the time that she saw it till we actually hit the runway, some changes were made, some tweaks were made, some alterations were made. So when it went on the runway, everything was, it was really lovely.
Perfect. I mean, for myself, what I would love to be like behind the scenes, like what you were, Vivian, like just go through and see, and all the models, and all the clothes racks and their names, and and then go into the audience and watch it, come alive. Yeah. I mean, that's something I would love to do. I mean, I've seen shows alive, and
right.
I can just remember rush 15 minutes. That's it. Everybody's rushing to get in 15 minutes, and you're done. And you're like, whoa. And then you run to the next one,
It's like a blink. Yeah, it's like a blink. You figure
like
all
you
that
didn't even know
out.
that you did it. So
yeah, all that work.
Oh, can you see me?
But it's like a wedding. It's planned for months and months and months and months. And the guest lists are changed and altered and this and that. And finally the day comes, you know, and
there you go. And then the standing ovation. I mean, okay, so let's say, let's talk about here that now a year goes by, but we're going to do Fashion Week, and we're getting ready, and it's spring, summer 2022. So, I guess people don't really realize designers have to design like a year in advance or 6 months in advance to really, and then do a spring, and then you do summer too, or so you continue on to the collection that you added.
Season.
So now you have this whole time off, and what, because I know you love grays. I know you love whites, and, because we talked about that the first time, and, more like solid colors, but this time, you got florals, and you got, big, beautiful white blouses and skirts, and, what went through your mind that you're like, I got to sit down and now draw a collection?
Right.
And
So
the
this,
Trompe d'oeil, which was so special, by the way. The Trompe d'oeil that you did.
yes,
So interesting.
Thank you, thank you.
I
So
have
this collection was very
okay,
different.
this here.
It was very different for me because I wanted to really kind of show the breadth of the atelier as well. That we make, not only can we do great cocktail and evening dresses, which we're known for, but we also have, we can do great day dresses, we can do great jackets and suiting. So it really showed the breadth of the atelier and of our offerings for our clientele, because they wear our collection from day through night. And the collection was inspired by an artist from the 1930s named Christian Berard. And he was kind of the darling of the 30s, and collaborated with Schiaparelli and Chanel, and did covers for Vogue, art illustrations for Vogue, and actually did the interior design for the Guerlain Institute, which is the Fragrance and Perfume Institute in Paris in 1939. And that was kind of the jumping off point. That trompe l'oeil that he did for the Guerlain Institute is kind of where I kind of started the collection. And then, of course, him being an artist, I loved his color sense and his kind of the brushstroke and the painterly hand that he had, but everything that he does is kind of whimsical and a little bit witty. So I approached the collection with a different kind of hand and a different eye. And that's what we rolled out in September.
Fabulous. Okay, so now you're like, so you're going that way, and then I know florals are always been so, for you. It's just, and florals are just so becoming on a woman,
Yeah.
And it is nice that, I like in some of your models, yes, they're not stick figures. They're some of them are, they're women, and that's who really, is going to buy a collection today. It's a wearable collection. So when you were designing, I mean, what was it that you actually, besides the oh my God, the Chanel, I'm like, hello, there you go, collection, like at the beginning, which is gorgeous. I mean, that is just so fabulous. That's just so striking. And I think there's not an age limit on this, it just can really,
Right.
it just, and I think in your collection, I think as a designer, and a lot of your previous, I mean, you took what an age was and to make it really appropriate today. Because, some of these designers are just like show, and they're stick models and they're this. And we're not, I'm 57. I'm not wearing that.
Yeah. Well, the collection is ageless. It's really about a taste level, not about an age. I find that their bodies change, they get older or whatever, but the taste level remains the same, or hopefully it gets better, as they're exposed to more things.
Exactly.
And more, and as they travel and as they read and as they, as they live their lives, you should always be improving, like a fine wine, I say.
Yeah.
And so this collection, as I mentioned, the florals were important because that showed like the painterly hand. The florals look like brush strokes. In fact, one of them prints was in fact called the brushstroke print. Then there were prints that would look like mums, but they were very painterly. And the shot that you're showing now, that is the brushstroke print. And we actually pleated that fabric. And then we printed over the pleating. So when the pleats opened up, you got all these this wonderful movement of the stripes or the lines that are beneath the pleats. So everything was really soft, very fluid. The tailored pieces were even very fluid. In the pink, suits that we showed, that fabric was specially woven to look like watercolor brush strokes. And it was silk and just moved beautifully. This one actually that you're seeing was a gorgeous peony print. And that again, It was just an oversized, blown up peony print that looked like it was, again, painted by hand. And we had that printed on silk organza. And just the movement alone in that, when you see that walk down the runway, the fluidity in the movement was really, really very special. And that's why I say nothing beats a fashion show. You know, you can do a great photo shoot in Dubai, you can do a fabulous photo shoot anywhere in the world, but to see the clothes on a runway, moving down that runway when the air hits that dress or the lighting and the whole vibe and the whole energy of a runway show, nothing really beats it, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, Vivian, you saw.
Would you agree with that, Vivian?
She didn't see the show, but
we were just saying that
scenes.
is a purest expression. That is your moment to get it exactly the way you want it before it gets shot by Vogue or whoever and gets pulled apart or changed. But I have to shout out, okay, this is not your white shirt. This is a theory shirt. But I was obsessed with the simplest piece you had, that white shirt. Can you talk about that? Like how perfect.
Sure.
We must all own that.
Here.
Yes, for me, there's nothing more beautiful than a white shirt, either in cotton, preferably in cotton, but a white cotton shirt, a taffeta white shirt. A white shirt on a woman, to me, is just the quintessential most fabulous thing, particularly if it has an important collar where she can pop the collar and then pile on jewels. So I'll reference another one of my favorite icons, and that's Millicent Rogers. So you will know Millicent Rogers, Vivian, because of the white shirt and how she would wear the jewelry from Santa Fe, or she would wear Bulgari jewelry, or she would wear Van Cleef and Arpels. She would wear jars. She would wear wherever the most fabulous jewelry was with her cotton shirts and a ball skirt, or a cotton shirt and a skirt that she dyed herself in a vat in New Mexico. It's just the juxtaposition between the high and the low and the textures. And that's what I love about this was
I was gonna say this
white cotton shirt with the beaded skirt.
Right. That look is like, it will never go away. I mean, it's just timeless. And I love that I see that you actually used a much older woman today to show that
she wouldn't like much older. She would just like older.
Just say older, not much older.
But
You're
we were
right.
talking
Because now
about
I
that,
just
larger,
wrong
older,
word.
all
I'm gonna
that.
say yes. I'm a much older woman today than I'm not, than I was back then. But yes, I still would wear this. So absolutely.
And you could rock this look. This
Oh,
would look
absolutely.
amazing
I'm
on
coming
you.
to your showroom to go play with you because I got,
Yes.
I don't know when something's going to come out, but okay.
Yeah,
So
you got to come over.
what were your, before I show more of your fashions, what was your theme of what you really wanted to go as? I mean,
So I think I wanted to go just to kind of create something that was happy, something that was, fun, that had a little bit, as I mentioned, a little bit of wit to it, because, we're coming through, a little bit of a tumultuous moment in time. And I just felt like, we're going to come back to New York. We want to show something that's happy and festive, something that's wearable, something that maybe a woman hasn't really considered. Maybe she hasn't considered that white shirt to wear that, besides wearing it with her jeans, wearing it with a beautiful gown skirt or a sequin skirt. Or maybe she hasn't considered or worn, certainly lately, a beautiful, knife pleated, printed, shirt dress. Or maybe she hasn't really considered the color coral, but not a coral as we know coral, a coral that's more muted and more vintage in its kind of palette and its mixture of colors within a print. So I just wanted to offer something that, for her, something new to consider in fashion.
Coral, is a very elegant color for any woman today.
It looks great on most complexions.
So many different variations of it, but it's just really a fabulous color for any color skin tone. It just gives enough, pop of color for a woman. And then your blues, I love your blues. And, so this is a fun little look. Let's talk about this fun little look. There you go.
Oh yeah, this is like the return of the bubble. This is really one of my favorite looks.
Okay.
Because back in the 80s, we used to just sell tons of bubbles. And we sold them in charmeuse, we sold them in velvet, we beaded them, we did all kind of bubbles. And I just thought right now, you know, if a girl is going to go out and and they say the legs are the last to go.
Right.
So, and the
Thank
shoulders,
God.
the shoulders and the clavicle also are still good.
Right.
A girl could rock this, you know,
Absolutely.
an older woman, you know, of a certain age could still rock this. You know, maybe we'd add 3 inches to it. But still, I think a woman could really wear this look, you know, to a fabulous cocktail party and really look stunning, you know, with a cute, smaller lower heel or with a gorgeous, you know, stiletto and rock it. And I just felt like it was time for the bubble. So I did actually 2 bubble shapes on the collection. This was one, and then I did one that was more fitted, but it had a flounce.
Okay.
It was in hot pink. It had a flounce that was a little bit of a soft bubble at the hem.
Oh, nice. I mean, you really thought. I mean, like I say, as a designer, you really thought it all out. I mean, so I have another question because Vivi and I were talking about makeup on runways because you know some of these shows have very extreme makeup, and it kind of takes away from what you're really there for, you know, or you just get like, what am I looking at? And then here, you know, you just have beautiful, natural, I mean, just striking makeup, hair's back. I mean, very tailored to go because your clothes are your clothes are the clothes.
Those were the statement.
Your state, right. So do you, I mean, whoever the makeup artist you use, do you tell them like, this is what I want?
We designed the look. We designed the look for the show. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I had inspiration, as I mentioned, of the trompe-l'oeil. So for me, in terms of the makeup, the trompe-l'oeil is where we moved that eyeliner to the inner crease of the eye and then extended it out. So you had a cat eye, and then you had a trompe-l'oeil cat eye, which was above the actual eyelid. And then we framed the lower corners of the eye with the liner as well. And of course, eyelash, what do you call it, mascara. And then the importance of a brow. And typically when I think about makeup, if the eye is important, then we kind of pull the lip down.
Okay.
The lip becomes a little bit more neutral. There is tone or there's a stain on it, but it becomes less important. You know, I don't want these girls to look like drag queens. I don't like a full blown face. I think that's really dated. Mm-hmm. So we push the eye and we reduce the mouth. I mean,
this is something that Vivi and I were talking about earlier before having you, because I mean, there's all these fashion, I mean, beautiful clothes or some clothes that I don't get, or, you know, who's really wearing this, but the makeup is so extreme and you're like, okay, how does one really, what do you concentrate on? You know, so I love, okay, and in that suit that you have that is so fabulous, that I love so much, did it come in any other colors, or that was the one color that you chose? Like I think it's like
no,
what,
it does.
ivory
it actually
color?
Comes,
is it ivory, like, or white?
Yeah,
white?
It comes in blue. The trompe-l'oeil always remains black, but it also comes in like a cerulean blue shade, and of course it's, you know, outlined in the black. It's also available in pink. Okay. And when I was at market,
I mean,
you know, after the week after we filmed it.
That's a Lisa outfit for sure.
Say again?
Totally Lisa outfit.
Yes.
Actually, a lot of your clothes are a Lisa outfit, so I've definitely got to come in. And then you did another.
But when I was in market,
then you did another.
I was going to say when I was in market. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. You did another piece that was also beautiful. That a lot. Like, I'm holding my notes up, so I'm like, flash the picture so people can see what's going on. Did you not get it? There we go. Should be coming. I think it was all feathers or something. Did you use feathers? Was it?
Yeah, I love feathers.
Did you use feathers?
I do love feathers. I do love feathers. Yes. So we did. I think maybe about 3 looks with feathers. We did a beautiful sort of celadon green skirt, sprinkled with feathers and caviar beads and crystals. Oh, wow. And I showed that with a beautiful kind of luster charmeuse type blouse, which had a turtleneck and it tied in the back. It had a racer armhole. And the turtleneck tied into a bow in the back, and the tails of the bow hung down the back onto the skirt. Just classic and really super chic. The color was amazing. Oh, and then we showed a gown, which was the finale piece that was sort of nude color. and it was just covered in feathers, and the feathers just started at the neck.
Trying to
It
get
was
it
like
up on our screen
turtleneck of
here.
feathers.
I know, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, show it on the screen already.
Yeah, turtleneck of feathers.
Yes,
and
that's why I asked you.
And then just covered in feathers. Beautiful.
Right, nice. Okay,
One of my favorite.
what do you want to say, Vivian? Any that,
I mean, I love
working
how
with him
unprecedented that idea is to do a turtleneck of feathers. I mean, that's just so different. Like, who has that? You don't have that. And I think that's exciting to like see things that you want, because we were talking about, I mean, the Givenchy show, amazing boots, but is that something you really want to wear? Whereas when I looked at your collection, I previewed it, I was like, wow, there's so many things here that are just so beautiful, and they're not just for the red carpet, they're for life. And that's
Right.
that's a successful collection in my estimation.
And the models picked out things that they wanted to wear, which I thought was amazing. I mean, speaking of the older model, when we did our fitting with Coco, she was saying, "Oh my God, I could walk right out of here with this dress right now."
right, because it's
just, for me, that was just fabulous, because I mean, she has as a model, models have their pick of anything in any collections that they any of the folks that they work for. And Coco's worked for, from Azadine to Givenchy. She works for everybody all over the world,
Ralph Rucci.
Yeah, Ralph Rucci. So, I mean, she has her pick of everything and has, I'm sure, incredible things in her closet. So for her to say, I could walk right out of here right now with this dress, that was good. That meant something.
the dress is coming up. We're going to get that dress up. Okay, so I forgot what I wanted to ask you now. I'm like flustered. Okay, what else, Vivi, we talked about that,
Well, we talked about like how, it is the designer, I think, ultimately who decides the hair and the makeup. And, perhaps like if Givenchy had Pat McGrath, who is amazing, and, but, maybe in that case, Pat would have what, 20% say or so. But ultimately, it's you, isn't it, Kevan, who decides. It is your show, your production. You're the bride that day, so to speak. So you get to decide. I mean, right?
I mean,
ultimately, it's the designer's choice. But if you're working with talented people, and if you're secure in your aesthetic and your ego, I think you certainly want to hear what other talented people have to say. I mean, people bring wonderful things to the table, and that's why you hire somebody that you feel can really capture your vision. You want to be able to listen, and I think that really does make for a stronger collection and a stronger statement on the runway.
Yeah. I mean, do you sometimes like have a model, you're doing all your fittings and everything, and then at the last minute you're like, you know what, she can't wear that, or put her in this? Or have you ever had like to just switch things on models at the last minute right before they go on, or because you felt like, I don't think this is going to work on her, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Or has a model ever say, you know what, I'm not wearing that, there's no way I'm wearing that?
No, model doesn't say that. A model wears what you put on her. I mean, she may not be her favorite.
I remember myself, I had a show and I was like, I am not wearing that. There's no way. And I got full side. I said, either you wear it or you're out of here. I wore it.
That's right.
I wore it, and you know what? I wish I would have had it, because today it's more fashionable than ever. But,
But Lisa, was that a modesty issue? Because I know, like, in some cases, certain models, it's just not in their religion or whatever. They won't wear certain things, which I understand.
Right. I felt a little insecure because I was young. I was a young,
so that's
I started young. So here, wherever the show was, and I think it was the designer, it was a great store in Houston, Texas, way back when. And I want to say Susie Cream Cheese or some, I have to figure out the name. She was just so, it was like what Tootsie's was, but even more over the top. Kevan will know what I'm talking about. Do you know Tootsie's?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it was a little over, and here I was, I think I was like 17 or 16, and and it was just really like, it was. I actually remember the outfit. It was like harem pants, and they were all in gold, but it was all like wasn't lace, but it was like a crochet, and and then I'm not sure, but I felt at the time for myself, I was like, you know, I, I got shy or I'm insecure. I mean, I am shy. And I was like, I can't wear this. I'm not comfortable. And they're like, oh, yes, you are. And I did. And that was that. So, end of story, So, so have you ever had, I mean, models just say anything to you, or that you're like, I don't know.
Not really.
Not really. Because
Not
your
really.
collection is just absolutely perfect.
No, I mean, when we do the fittings, I know that the girls, we try on a lot of different looks to see what's going to be the most beautiful and the most successful on the girl, and then from there, we decide what the girl wears, and we really have never had an issue with a model not wanting to wear something.
Now here's that beautiful look.
Yeah.
Right. This
So
is gorgeous.
This is the feather turtleneck.
Right.
And the dress that's covered with feathers.
I mean, who does anything like that? But we know who does this. This is Kevan Hall who does this.
It's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy.
It's great.
So I see, like, through some of the collection that I have, you have fantasy, you have whimsical with flowers and stuff, and then you just have that sophisticated, white blouse, just put it on with anything, a skirt, mini skirt, long skirt. So so I think, I guess a year or, when you started, I mean, you really had a good thought process of how am I going to make that entrance and walk down that runway with a standing ovation and go, I'm back, I mean, your adrenaline had to be like crazy that day. So
yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting. The press came. We had a nice, phenomenal front row full of, great people, and my family was there, and friends, and so it was exciting. It was very, very exciting.
Okay, so because I know we're going to get ready to close it out. So my question is also, Kevin, is there a way to watch the actual fashion show online or anything? How some people show it.
Yes, you can watch. You can go on YouTube and watch it. It's Kevan Hall Spring 2022 collection, and folks can watch it online. And we will be putting the looks up on our KevanHallDesigns.com website.
Okay.
So, and at that point, people can start pre-ordering the collection because there's some really great, some really amazing pieces that I think that will definitely work into, women's lifestyles.
Oh, I'm coming over. I'm special. I'm just going right to the showroom.
Long overdue.
Lisa, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So, Kevan, I mean, are you thinking of designing just twice a year? For a while, designers are like, I'm exhausted. I'm not doing pre-fall, pre-spring, summer one, summer two. Are you just going to stick to your guns and be like, I'm designing, I'm going to show twice a year and that's it?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're showing twice a year. It's just,
it's hard.
It's a lot of research and a lot of work, and very expensive to do, collection after collection and one after another, pre-spring, pre-fall and all that. And then, the buyers, you show these collections and then, let's say they decide not to purchase it. I'm talking about the retail people now. They decide not to purchase it. And then you come back with pieces from that collection. They say, I've seen that already. So, it's like,
so Mike, I have a question regarding that. So when you're showing this whole big collection, I mean, it's your one collection that is, summer one, summer, two, spring 1 and 2. I mean, this, so that's it. It's either you're going to come in and buy it, or because I'm not doing it, I'm not going forward. I mean, so do you let the buyers know that this is, you could say spring 1 and 2, or at the
yes,
so
we
that
do.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We let them know the delivery dates. This is what we're offering for, for to have in your stores, starting January through, March, April. This is the delivery dates, and this is what you can, let your customers know that this is when it's going to hit, and then they make a decision, to bring it in. So, we're very clear about, those deliveries. And I think the delivery cycle is shifting too now, because people really want, they want to purchase a little bit closer to season. And that's another whole conversation. And maybe
exactly.
show.
That's a whole another hour. I mean, right. I mean, right. That's crazy.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I love showing just season.
Do you really need to have a Melton coat, a wool coat in July? I think not.
Oh.
Right. So, okay,
that's another show.
Right. Okay, Vivian. So now, you're a writer and your mind is just going on and all these fashion shows and things and what we've talked about. I mean, what are you doing next? What's your, from everything that you have seen, Fashion Week is over. What's next for you?
Bridal's around the corner.
Bridal.
So bridals, like it or not, it's a huge market and you can't not pay attention to it. No. So we're definitely going to be, I think I'm going to go for a day or two. I'm assuming bridal is still on and happening in New York, and I'm going to report on bridal. So, I mean, it's not as Kevan said, there's not so much going on, but I think there are certain things that are not going to go away. Now New York Fashion Week is back. We're certainly going to have a Fashion Week in February again, and hopefully we'll see you again there, Kevan. And then
maybe I can come down.
yes
That's right, because you said to come down in February. Okay, so do you, Vivian, do you go to any of the shoe shows to see really what's out there?
No, I haven't yet though, but that would be interesting. Are they happening? I wasn't even aware that they were happening.
I can ask Mr. Pliner. He'll know.
Okay.
But he stepped out of the boat. But I'll ask, because shoe shows are, I would say just from us back in the days, are interesting, of really, because then it's like here, Kevan, you're not doing shoes. Are you manufacturing shoes? Or are you getting shoes from a designer specifically for your collection or designed for your collection?
This season we kind of collaborated. I didn't design the shoes, but we brought in a really terrific shoe designer, Chelsea Paris.
Oh, great designer!
We kind of selected shoes from her line that kind of worked with our collection.
Great designer. See, so I think that's something next you should do, Vivian. I'll find out for you actually, because shoe shows always after Fashion Week. So
yeah, no, I would love to do that. I'm going to be working on. I think I'm going to do a segment for Scott's and Mine Fashion. We're going to talk about fragrances for holiday. In the retail cycle, as you all know, it's starting. Halloween is the kickoff for the holiday retail season. So fragrance is a huge, huge gift.
Right.
So we have a fragrance expert friend who actually consults with Tom Ford and other designers. So I'd like to know what Mark has to say. Like, what are the top 5 men's fragrances for holiday? What are the top women's fragrances for holiday?
I do love.
So we're going to be talking about that.
I will say I do love his. I use a lot of his favorites. Tom Ford. I think he's great. So okay, well, you know what? I am so happy to have both of you join me again. Yeah. It was so good to see both of you.
Absolutely.
And from a year ago, look how further we've been. So thank you for being here. And again, over 40, loving every minute of it, because that's how we just look fabulous as we get older. And Kevin's clothes look fabulous as we get older, because he gets the woman, an older woman.
Thanks
to
designers like Kevan, who understand like what we want to wear.
Hello. I'm telling you. So I'm just going to say on that note, I hope everybody stays safe. Wear your mask when you have to wear your mask, or wash your hands. And if you're not, I know a lot of politics back and forth. If you're not vaccinated, it's a really important thing. I watched my mom go through COVID and almost died. So, I got it, it's a hard thing. And, so I want to leave on that note. Just please, everybody, be safe today, and look at all the fabulous fashion out there. I want to know from Vivian next time we talk what you're really seeing. I want to know really what's out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely keep my eye out. Well, I'll be in New York again. So, street fashion, it's great to see what are people actually wearing in the streets and the restaurants.
Right.
That's big.
Right.
That's
And
the real
Kevin and
test.
I
Yeah,
are going to go
test.
see I'm going to come down and see who he's dressing for. You know, hey, LA, we got all the events coming up now. So, you know, I'm
Is it
going to
back
say,
on?
right. So I might just have to go. I need to borrow that if it's my size. So I love you
Come on
both.
down.
I can't thank you enough again. And this is Over 40, loving every minute about it. And I am all about fashion. Anybody that knows me knows that I love fashion more than anything. You know, I just love it. That it just makes me feel fabulous. So thank you again, my guest. And I will see everybody till next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you.